Yo, what's good? It's your boy Dot from Dot Me Now Coaching and Entertainment for coaching my links are down below. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the evil people who rule this world. And I put quotes because I don't want to say that they fully rule the world. Like there are various higher, more divine forces of creation that have way more rulership than these beings. They're kind of just like small part-time rulers until you hit a certain level of awareness and you learn how to transcend their level of control. Now, if that sounds good to you, I would like to ask that you like this video, subscribe if you're new, and if you see the option to, I would like to also ask that you hype up this video. Also, I just did an interview with the Paradigm Experience. Go check it out. Yeah, let's get into today's video. Alright, so this video was inspired by a comment that I got by a guy who was dang near demanding me to tell him who they are. Now, honestly, a lot of you guys already understand like who these people are, but I will break it down inside this video. If you haven't seen my video called Creation and Control Structures, I would like to ask that you watch this video because I did mention it inside that video, but this video will tackle things from a bit of a different angle and I'll try to get a bit more in depth, I guess. But yeah, and the last thing I want to say is the fact that when it comes to these people, there should be no fear surrounding it. You shouldn't give them too much power. If you are authentically on the spiritual path, that means that you are on the path of trying to become of your spirit. And if you are aligning with your spirit, then these people have no control over you. Doesn't really matter. You know what I'm saying? You don't got to blame them for all the mishaps inside of your life. None of that. You know what I'm saying? No. You are your ultimate authority. You don't got to worry about them. But since that one guy wanted to know, I figured that there's other people who might want to know. So let's talk about it in this video. All right, so who are they? Who are these evil people that apparently rule the world? To keep it simple, I'm just gonna say Satanists. But you need to understand what Satan truly is, right? What that consciousness truly is. Because I don't really mean like, for example, the Church of Satan. They just see Satan as a symbol for like freedom and stuff like that, right? But Satan actually is a real consciousness that deals with, it's pretty much the consciousness that keeps you bound to the world, right? And all the different people, all these evil people who rule the world, they are aligned with this consciousness, even if they don't worship Satan per se, right? Now, mainly, these are literally just humans and also ETs. Those are like the main two groups of beings, right? It's really that simple. Like, it's not really a crazy thing to understand, in my opinion, especially because the information is out there in the open right now. Like, I was already shown this, right? And I was already told about this. And then I was able to find all the information online too. And what I found online essentially aligned with what I was being taught about anyway and things that were shown to me anyway, you know? So, for example, people talk about reptilians, right? That's one facet of this. Not all reptilians are evil, but there are reptilians that are a part of this group, right? Like, I don't really want to put a name on the group because if you know a name of a person, like for example the Rothschilds and the 13 bloodlines of the Illuminati and all that type of stuff, yeah, those names, yeah, those could be real names of people that are involved inside this group. But at the very, very top, you're not gonna get a name, especially for like a freaking alien. Like, what are you gonna call him, Sir Vindel Smurf? Like, the name's not even English. You probably can't even comprehend some of their names. Like, probably can't even pronounce it. They probably just talk like, "Ruh, ruh, 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 ruh." Of course, they're also telepathic, but like you get what I'm trying to say. Like, when it comes to a name, I don't really care about that because, for example, when it comes to the mafia, right? I'm sure there's mafia groups where they do know the name of the boss, but there's also mafia groups where nobody knows the name of the boss. You know what I'm saying? At all. Yet the people still know that they have a boss. So even if you don't know the name of the people that rule the world, you still know that there's certain evil people that rule the world, or at least have a certain level of control over the world until you break free from the control by becoming more aware of your divine nature, right? But yeah, I say Satanists because, once again, all of these people, whether it's humans, ETs, it could be other stuff like non corporeal entities, it could be simply evil entities without a body. You don't even call them a certain race. Like, they're not even a race of being. They're just entities with no form. You know what I'm saying? Or with no body, right? They're not like a specific race of being though, right? You have that involved. You could have freaking evil fairies involved, right? That may sound like what is this guy talking about, but I'm being for real. It's it's literally just a group of evil beings, a group of beings like me and you, and I say like me and you in the sense of these beings were once divine, but once being with inside of this creation, they strayed from their divine nature, and they started living out of love, and they started becoming evil, and they began wanting control over people, over other souls. And inside my video called Creation and Control Structures, I actually explain why. To keep it simple, they don't want the dream to end, right? They became obsessed with creation and they don't want it to end, so they keep you in creation to keep the creation going. If you just became a, imagine if every single person on earth became aware of their divine nature and actually embodied it. They can choose to leave whenever they want to. Now there's no creation to rule. You see, watch my video called Creation and Control Structures if you haven't watched it. It's a very important video to understand how we even got here today, because not all control structures are bad, but at some point they can become bad. And I explained that. I explained the very top to the very bottom of the first control structures to all the way down below what we have here, right? So with that being said, you can easily find people online who used to be a part of evil groups. Like, there's groups of people that, so I'm about to say the word eat. When I say eat, that means to have intercourse. I'm also about to say the word candy. When I say candy, that means children. There's groups of people that like to get in groups and eat candy, if you know what I mean. That's out there. Some of them are destroying the candy and sacrificing the candy. They're doing that. Yeah, I actually found out that about 20, 30 minutes away from me, there's people doing that. I found that out because I was watching a video, right? If you don't know, I used to make reaction videos, and in some of my reaction videos, I react to people who used to be a part of these groups, and they tell you how they function and all that, right? But one of the videos I never got to upload because the recording got messed up. Inside that video, it was a girl who was mentioning that her father was a part of one of these groups. Now, I don't even think it was like a very big group. I don't even know if they're linked to like the higher groups that start getting involved with the government and beyond the government, right? There might just be a group of just weirdos who want some evil power, but they're not even that big yet. I don't know. But I know inside that video, when she mentioned where it was taking place, I'm like, wait a minute, that town is literally 20, 30 minutes away from me. It's all around you. Freemasons, not every Freemason is evil. Don't want to say that. They're not. Most Freemasons have no idea what's going on. But at the very, very, very top, like at the 33rd degree and beyond, because there apparently are more degrees according to a Freemason, which I reacted to on my YouTube. Um, when you start hitting those high levels, you start to understand what this is all about. And these are the people that get in groups and like to eat candy together and like to destroy the candy and stuff like that. It's not just Freemasons. There's all kinds of satanic groups out there. There's all kinds of groups out there that are simply just purely evil and like to do evil things because it somehow helps them get a certain power that lets them control people. And here's what I mean by that, right? I mentioned how you have these non-corporeal entities, right? You don't, there's not really a name for what you could call them, demons if you want to, you know what I'm saying? But even the word demons isn't even the best term for that. Just you have certain entities, right, that align with that consciousness of being evil, of being satanic. And when you destroy the candy and you sacrifice the candy, they lend you certain power. Since these beings are not purely inside, since they're not inhabiting the same physical space as us, and they are non-physical, I put it like that because they could still be inside the physical plane essentially, but not be like inside of like you can't really like it could be one right next to you, right? They're technically next to you, but you can't see them, right? Because they're not inside the same space as you per se, they have certain levels of control with inside of the space which they do inhabit. And if you align with those beings, they can manipulate things from that space, which give you a certain sense of power, right? Whether you want to call them demons, I don't really care. You know what I'm saying? We could say demons, whatever, right? And then Satan's the king of the demons, right? Satan is the consciousness that keeps you bound to the world and pretty much constantly harms you whenever you are not aligned with your spirit. You see, Satan kind of acts as a way to purify you because anywhere where Satan is attacking you, like I said, I'm not trying to make it like I'm not trying to get biblical. Like there's really some guy with horns and a pitchfork and he's attacking you. That's not what I mean. No, but whenever these malevolent forces get you messed up, whenever they fuck you up, right? It's only because you're not fully in tune with your spirit. Once you fully embody your spirit, their influence doesn't matter anymore. At least when it comes to you, they can't affect your life because you become the full ruler of your life. But this is why you have certain cults that worship Saturn, because Saturn, right? Saturn as a planet is not evil, but the consciousness of Satan can be harnessed through Saturn, right? Because Saturn deals with restriction and binding things, right? Now, sometimes Saturn is good. If you work with Saturn, you can become way more disciplined. You could get your life in way more order, right? But if you saw my video about creation and control structures, you start to learn that order can lead to complete control, right? So humans can harness that energy to essentially bind people. This is where you get the Saturn Moon Matrix. I made a video about that a while ago. It's in my playlist called Astral Projection. The video about creation and control structures, that's in my playlist called Spiritual Basics. Now, a lot of y'all already know this stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't really got to tell many people about this because if you went down the conspiracy rabbit hole enough, you already understand this. It's not really that crazy of a concept, but I understand that there probably are people that don't understand this at all. A lot of my audience, y'all already understand this, but there's probably some of you that don't understand this, so I'm bringing it to you today, right? And there's many different angles which you can actually approach this topic from. I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible, you know, because I understand the history of certain galactic wars, for example, and why reptilians want control over Earth. I actually understand that. I've actually experienced that, right? So reptilians are involved. Reptilians work with humans all the time to keep people controlled. They do that all the time. It's not just reptilians, though. It's all kinds of ETs, right? You shouldn't be racist towards a certain race just because some of the people inside some of the people inside that race do evil things, right? Not all reptilians are evil. It's some cool reptilians out there. It's some reptilians that want to go against the evil reptilians. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's mainly humans and ETs though. These are the main culprits as well as the non-physical entities which they work with. Now, when it comes to reptilians, I mean, I was about to say I can't fully say if they work with entities, but they do have their own entity-like structure. I don't know how to put it. What I do know, like for example, there are reptilians that worship certain non-physical beings, but those beings tend to just be passed over reptilians. Some of them worship evil dragons, right? Those get involved also. Some reptilians do interact with evil dragons and harness their power and learn things from them in order to have more control over people. And it's really just all see the control is mainly just psychological and emotional, right? The control structures are mainly just built through you believing in falsehoods and then you being scared and you feeling like you have to do certain things. That's where the control mainly comes from. Then, of course, there's certain physical laws established that might be used against you sometimes. You do have the government, but not all the government is evil. Some of these evil people do work with inside the government, but I will not say that the whole entire government is evil. It might be, but I don't think that it is, mainly because there's a lot of people that try to go into government that have no idea about any of this stuff. And if you try to mention it, they're going to think that you're actually just fucking crazy. You see? So, yeah, right? When it comes to the rulers of the world, they're pretty much Satanists. It's just different people that align with that consciousness. Now they start becoming evil. Well, really they became evil, which aligned them with that, I should say, right? At first, they were divine, just like you and me. At some point, they forgot their true divine nature. Some of them will still claim divinity, but it's not real divinity, right? They'll say, "I'm God, therefore I'm God, therefore I can do whatever I want to. I can now control you, because I'm God and I want to do that." But they don't really understand what it means to really be God. They don't. They're thinking about the God of the Bible, which is Yahweh, aka Satan. Oops, probably shouldn't have said that for some of y'all. The cat's out the bag. Yep. But I ain't even going. We'll just leave that over there. Yeah, the highest God of the Bible is not Yahweh. He's not. If you guys want to learn more about that, because I've already been taught this before. I've learned this before. When I was reading the Bible a bit more heavy, I realized that for myself. And then I found a guy on YouTube. His name's Kevin Mystery. He broke it down. Amazing, So go check him out. He already covered this whole entire who is Satan, who is Yahweh stuff. So I don't even got to do it. You know what I'm saying? I probably shouldn't have said that. Oops, sorry to burst the bubble. But nah. Yeah. That when they say they're God, they're thinking about that. They're not thinking about the true divine source behind all things. Because if you were really aligned with that, you would notice your oneness with all things, and you wouldn't want to harm anyone. You wouldn't want to do that, And you wouldn't want to do that. But these people, they want to do that. They got so drunk off of creation, and they got so drunk off of power that they're willing to do anything for it, including harming innocent people, including Candy. You remember what I said Candy was in the beginning? Yeah, they do that. Yeah, they do. They do. And you could find various people who were a part of these different satanic groups, right? Is one girl I reacted to. Her name is Erica Mukasa. Now, she wasn't doing nothing with Candy, but she was like working with demonic forces, right? Demonic powers, demonic entities, right? And she was using that to harm other people. And inside her videos, she mentions how various different companies are aligned with those demonic energies also. Even a famous singer, right, was aligned with one of those energies. I ain't gonna say his name, but I think she mentioned it inside of one of her videos, which I reacted to, right? And if it wasn't inside of one of my videos, just look up Erica Mukasa, watch her testimonies, you'll see what I'm talking about, right? So yeah, And when like I said, when it comes to these demons, these are just entities that are evil. It's just evil entities without a body, right? A lot of them exist inside the etheric plane, right? And there are levels of the physical plane which are connected to the etheric plane, hence why they can exist inside the physical plane but not have a body, right? Because like literally like when it comes to the physical plane, there's etheric layers, there's astral layers, there's mental layers. You have all different kinds of beings and forces that live inside that, right? Even with the mental layers, right? This we start getting like certain spirits. When I say spirits, I mean intelligent energies, right? Hold up. I mean intelligent energies. I mean, like, for example, test the thought to be evil, right? Test the thought to do something evil. It's inside the mental plane, and that crosses over to our physical plane. People align with that all the time. You see? So, yeah. Uh, that's pretty much what it is. And understand that these people, right, actually benefit your spiritual growth because whenever you're affected by them, you get to see your weak points. You get to see wherever you are not aligned with your divine nature. That's how they attack you in the first place. You get to see the open doors and how to kind of stop being open to that and how to evolve yourself even more. They serve you. They're parts of Source. They're the part of Source that wanted to express itself as being evil. Now, Source itself is not evil, right? But Source can have the expression of being evil when Source forgets its true divine nature. I think I explained that in my video called Creation and Control Structures, though. You should go watch it. You feel me? But yeah, that is who the whenever I talk about the they, I just mean these satanic humans, these evil ETs, and these non-physical entities that are just purely fucking evil. You know? So I hope that answered this question for you guys. I hope you guys have more understanding about who these evil people are, who the they is. You know, I hope you guys get that. I'm gonna end this video right here. Like this video, subscribe if you're new, hype up this video. Peace. You feel me?